I remember waking up one morning already feeling the weight of guilt pressing down on me. The sun was out and its rays were spilling through my blind, reminding me of how late it actually was. Because winter mornings aren't supposed to be this bright. But then just as quickly my guilt melted away. I remembered something that lit a little spark of motivation and excitement inside of me. But it wasn't to do some work, to script some videos, to further my channel, to learn something new, to actually improve my health, my life, my relationships, my anything. It was to play video games. But without hesitation, I swung out of my bed and I literally hovered my fingers over the keyboard like that, and I searched up the game launcher. When it finally did load, I loaded up into a match and I ended up winning my first game, and the second, and then the third. And I almost felt like I was just so good at the game that no one could beat me. But unfortunately, something did. I started losing game after game, and every single time I lost I just got more frustrated and more frustrated. And yet I kept playing, not because the game was fun anymore, but just because it was like comfortable and familiar to just stay sitting down rather than to do everything else that I needed to do in my day, to go to the gym, to actually do some work and actually face my fear of not have done anything this whole morning. Before I knew it, the game wasn't fun anymore, it was just like something to do. And when I finally took my eyes off the screen and looked at the clock literally made me jump back. It was midday. I've been playing this game for over 3 hours, and those 3 hours I could have been used to actually push myself closer to my goals were gone, just like that. So I finally closed up the game, stood up and shuffled over to the bathroom, but I didn't feel free. I felt trapped, almost in this weird haze, like this heavy haze. Even going to the gym, a place I actually like to go, it almost felt meaningless. So I went back to my room, I immediately grabbed my phone and set a timer for just 1 minute to just sit down and meditate. I sat down, I was trying to focus on my breath, but within seconds my mind started wandering, and before I knew it, the timer went off. But I felt no different. Yeah, I had hope that this would work. So I set the timer again, just 1 more minute. This time I actually locked in, pulling my focus back onto my breath every single time my thought arose. And then before I even realized it, the timer buzzed again. But this time something felt different. It was smooth, but I felt a sense of presence, and for the first time this morning I actually felt like me again. That tiny shift was all I needed. It wasn't just like going through the motions anymore, it was actually something fun to do. It reminded me of the importance of going to the gym and being disciplined. And when I went to the gym, everything just clicked. The music sounded better, my body felt strong. It wasn't just any push session, it was one of the best push sessions I've had in weeks. And I had a juicy pump that felt earned and just amazing. And all it took was just one moment, a few minutes to just reset. And what I've realized is that you almost act the way you feel. Because have you ever noticed when you're playing video games, when you just been scrolling on just YouTube or Instagram Reels, you decide to skip the gym or reset your nofap streak, you're often not present and you're often not in a positive mood. Compared to when you are in a positive mood and you are present, everything just feels more fun. Almost like your dopamine levels are rise and everything just feels 2 times better. Even to go to the gym, doing the hard work, just being disciplined. It's almost like you're driving a car. When your mental state is almost low and negative, then it's almost like you have a dirty, unclear, dull windshield, and therefore you're not really gonna enjoy the journey. And it's interesting to think that there's a mindset that I didn't script, but I think it'll be beneficial for you to know. You usually don't even enjoy doing the bad habits. Like, they almost feel good now, but it's almost like a trade offer from your future self. It's almost like you're stealing their happiness for now, and you're giving them the pain from right now to them. And for example, video games, like you feel good now, like because you're getting eliminations, but then eventually after 3 hours you just stole all that time and all that potential from your future self. Compared to the good habits, it's almost like the opposite. You're trading off the pain right now for the pleasure tomorrow or later on. And there's like a new mindset that you actually do enjoy doing the good habits because they actually make you feel good in the long run and for a longer amount of time. Think about it, the time when you woke up, you did some work, or you read a book, or you went to the gym, just an amazing day, like a super disciplined day. When you look back at it, you probably, in that day, you probably didn't feel like amazing. Like, let's say you're reading the book and you didn't really want to, you did the work even though you didn't really want to. The pain of your muscles, like that didn't feel that good. But looking back now, you almost feel a sense of pleasance, what your past self actually did for you now. And as I was trying to look for a title for this video, which I didn't even find, I came across this podcast highlight, just a YouTube short of this guy talking about the 3 M's. And it actually was so well explained in such a simple way. And without realizing, I've been doing these habits for over 2 years. And the way I've been able to stay so consistent is because it's always at a set time in my day. Every single time I finished doing my work, so I would wake up, do my work, and then do my morning routine. Or I would just wake up, and if I didn't really feel like doing the work, like back when I was in a rut, I would just wake up, do my morning routine, and just play video games. I'm not gonna lie to you. Or just wake up, play video games, and do my morning routine. But I never skipped it because it was like something that was my baseline tolerance. Like I couldn't tolerate just skipping it because then my day would just go whack. And the first M is mindfulness. I just meditate and just set a timer for 3 minutes and I just focus on my breath. So whenever a thought arises, I just refocus my mind on my breath. What this does, it trains your mind to be more present when you're about to do the bad habits. So you actually think about before you actually act, not just act on impulses. I remember this one time in the same day that I told the story at the beginning of the video, since I actually meditated and I actually meditated for a while, more than I usually do. I remember I walked back from the gym back to my house, and as soon as I opened the door, I saw this box of chocolates. And I wanted to take one because I thought to myself, oh, just a little chocolate, it'll feel nice in my mouth, nice. But I knew the pleasure was only gonna last a few seconds. So I was like, nah. And after I realized that, I was like, oh wait, because I meditated, I actually was present that moment. I did just instinctually or just like impulsively take the chocolate and eat it just because I wanted to. And think about meditation almost this way. Imagine you have a new puppy and you're trying to train it to like sit down and do some tricks. At the beginning, obviously, he's gonna like run around, do whatever it wants. But after more progress, more time invested into it, it's gonna like learn what to do. So let's say you say sit and it actually sits down, it's gonna learn the cues. And over time, you're training it and you're becoming better at it. Obviously, your 10th meditation is gonna be better than your first. And obviously, your 100th meditation is gonna be better than your 10th. And just as a little bonus, meditation lets your brain almost reset and rest. For example, after I played video games for 3 hours, that weird haze that I got where my mind felt heavy, my mind just got actually a second where there was no stimulus and I actually was able to just relax and reset. So the next M then stands for movement. Now I personally do this stretching routine that fixes my posture because I found it one day and I just did it from then on. But you can really do whatever you want. Stretches, just a few push-ups or a few like exercise like lateral raises and bicep curls to just get a better frame of shoulders and biceps. And I started doing posture exercise because at the time I actually played video and obviously I had like bad posture, forward head posture, my shoulders were back and I had like interior pelvic tilt. If you know what that means, I'll just put an image here of what it actually is. And at the time I didn't know, but I'm so grateful now that I actually knew this, is that when you have forward head posture, your maxilla can't, this is like some nerdy stuff that is really deep, but I'll explain it to you. Your maxilla can't really develop properly, which is like your bone right on top of your teeth, and that bone literally makes your whole face develop, your lower jaw, so you can actually have a jawline, your cheekbones, or basically everything that develops your face. Because if you don't have a developed maxilla, all your face just kind of goes back. But right now I have people complimenting my looks and my posture. Obviously I still got a long way to go. I don't think I'm like at my best looking self. Develop my maxilla to do some habits that I'll probably make a video about sometime after I've seen results. My family who's always complimenting my posture, they're always telling me that they wish they had my posture where I just stand up straight naturally. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description of the video, so if you want to fix your posture, you can just like click on that video. It's like the exact video I followed, and literally within a week I literally saw results on my interior pelvic tilt and on my posture. I felt like my shoulders were more free, my shoulders weren't just like hunching over, my chest was more open and my back muscles were actually activated. Because what the stretches do, it actually activates the right muscles. So instead of your muscles being like tight at the front, so you're like kind of hunched over like this, your front muscle are actually stretched and your back muscle is tight, so you kind of go like that. Last but not least, the final M, which I personally think is one of the most important. They're all really important, but this is probably one of the ones that personally I've seen most results with, and it's mindset. And I do visualizations and affirmations for my mindset. Visualizations and affirmations almost create a new self-image for yourself. For example, you have a self-image, like a personal belief about yourself that you just follow relentlessly. For example, I have the self-image that I remember when I was little, people complimented my art. So I have the self-image that I'm actually kind of decent at art. If other people have like horrible self-images about art, you probably remember back in school or at school, you remember that people say, oh, my art is bad, my art is this, whatever. But I always had the self-image that my art was actually good. And therefore my art was actually good because I had that self-image implanted to me when I was young. And obviously your self-image comes from when you're younger. But the thing about visualizations is you can almost create an experience. You can think about your reality is just your 5 senses. The only way you know anything is real is because you can touch it, see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, and I'm pretty sure those are the 5 senses. And the interesting part is that you can recreate these exact senses in your mind. For example, you can imagine yourself being confident vividly by just envisioning the 5 senses of smell, touch, everything. And therefore your mind will be able to tell that imagination from reality, therefore creating a new self-image for yourself, therefore you being slightly more likely to act more confident. Obviously, if you visualize once doesn't mean you're going to be like some flipping celebrity type confidence, but obviously your confidence is going to boost a little bit, but over the course of months, over the course of years, that's definitely going to be a difference. And also a bonus that I found with visualizations is that when you visualize about doing the hard work and actually receiving the reward, or for example, I visualize that, let's say you go to the gym and then you look at yourself in the mirror and you have a pump and you actually feel amazing, it actually makes you excited to go to the gym and do the hard work, because it almost reminds your mind of why the hard work is so important. Because also, whenever you've done doing the hard work, or whenever you've done actually going to the gym, you realize that, oh, why would I procrastinate on this? It feels amazing. And therefore you're almost getting that same sensation, but before you actually start doing it. So it's almost like a buff for your hard work. And affirmations are just manual thoughts you place into your mind, because your mind just naturally generates a lot of thoughts during the day, and either they can be positive or negative. But then when you manually implant positive thoughts into your mind is going to be way more likely to generate positive thoughts, and therefore making your day like 40% better. Because I remember there's one time I was in the bus and I forgot exactly what I did, or I was just in jiu-jitsu, or I was just in random places, and my mind would just generate positive thoughts about me, like, oh, I'm disciplined because I went to martial arts even though I didn't want to. Oh, I'm actually confident because I'm actually speaking to these people even though I didn't really feel like it. I did this. I'm smart because I don't remember what exactly I did, but my mind is actually on my side, pushing me forward, instead of having one that pulls you down and makes you feel bad. And these 3Ms have really changed my day every single day for the past 2 years. And having that little like 50-20% buff to your day is really adds up during the years. Imagine you improve your day by 10% for the rest of your life. Imagine how much more positive, better, happier, wealthier you'll be if you even had just a 10% boost to your day. And you can get a way bigger boost by applying these 3Ms. You can either copy my routine, which is meditation, then to do some stretches like posture stretches, and then visualizations and affirmations. But you can change it whatever you like. All you have to do is just follow the general guide of mindfulness, movement, and mindset. For mindfulness, you could meditate. For exercise, you can do some push-ups. And for your mindset, you can literally just read a book. Think about what would you enjoy the most, because actually think about this, because later on I'm going to help you visualize this so you can actually remember it, unlike other YouTubers who just give you a lot of advice and then you kind of forget it after you watch a video, because it'll really help you integrate it into your life and actually help you remember it. Think of what would you actually enjoy doing most. For example, if meditating is something you don't really enjoy, first of all, try it, because if you don't, then you don't really know if you like it. But if you don't, just read a book. It's almost like the same thing, because you have to refocus back on the senses that you're reading. Because if you get distracted, then you just don't really realize. You might be reading the words, but you might be thinking of something else, and therefore you're not really absorbing the book. So think of what you would actually enjoy doing most. Obviously, this can change over time, so don't get so attached to something, but just think of what you will enjoy the most, you stay the most consistent with. For example, if you don't like stretches, if you really hate stretches, for example, then you can just do some push-ups or some like lateral raises and hammer curls. So pick some. Now that you have the 3 main habits, now just set a time to actually do them. Ideally in the morning. I do it after I do my deep work, which is like recording and scripting some videos, because then you can have the benefit for the rest of your day if you do it in the morning. And don't say you don't have enough time. It's literally 10 to 15 minutes. Literally do whatever it takes to wake up earlier, try and do a little bit less work so you can actually do this, because I'm telling you, you're gonna get way more benefits from these 10 to 15 minutes of actually improving your mindfulness, your movement, and your mentality than just working a little bit 10 to 15 minutes more. You'll just have a way better benefit throughout the day rather than just getting a little bit more working. Because I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm literally kind of skipping school right now to record this video, and so I can actually do my morning routine. The time right now, I don't know if you can see very well, it's 7:25 like AM, and my school starts at 8:30, and I live pretty far. It takes me like about 30 minutes to get to school, and I still need to do my morning routine and eat, which usually takes around maybe 45 minutes, so it'll be 8 by the time I leave. So I'll basically skip assembly. I'm literally doing this so I can like record this video, because I'm not gonna lie to you, the assembly is probably gonna be, I know there's some random out, but assembly is probably gonna be something about like work experience, which I've already done. It's gonna be boring and whatever. But getting back on the point, let's visualize these 3 habits and the time you actually do them, so you can actually integrate them, remember them, and actually apply them onto your life. Because I'm already giving you the framework. You already have your 3 habits and a time to do them. Now you actually have to do them. Just a quick 2 tips that's really going to help you when you're doing visualizations. I'm going to leave a link in the description of a video that you can watch that it goes really in depth into visualizations, which I made. If you didn't want to watch it, then you didn't really have to. It's kind of, I'll give you a little summary here, but it really goes into depth, and I believe you'll gain a lot of really good knowledge and benefit if you do watch it. So I'll be the second link. But anyway, the 2 main tips is that you almost have to visualize vividly, because once you visualize vividly, you create emotion, and when emotion is created, that's when your mind actually believes that it's real. And the way you create something vivid is by just using the 5 senses, making it actually feel like it was real, using the 5 senses of sense, like visualizing the exact room you're in. That's something that really helped me. visualizing the exact room you're in, visualizing almost like the weight of your feet on your shoes, almost visualizing what you hear. Really visualize everything, because that will make it vivid, and therefore your mind will actually believe it, and therefore you'll actually feel like a real experience, and therefore you're just gonna get 10 times more benefits than if you don't apply this vividness and emotion. And the second tip, and it's talked about in the book Psycho-Cybernetics, which I learned all of this from, is you almost have to feel happy inside. It's a weird concept, but like you just almost have to take a deep breath and calm yourself and almost feel happy inside, feel joyful. It's weird, but it really does help. I've done it and it makes such a big difference. So now let's close our eyes and actually visualize this so we can remember it. Imagine you're in your room and you just sat down, you grab your timer, you grab your book, and you start reading or just focusing on your breath. And you really try to focus on your breath. Whenever a thought arises, you just focus back on the breath, or you focus back on the book. And you're actually enjoying learning, or you're actually enjoying the peacefulness of just meditating. And you can almost physically feel your brain resetting and getting calmer. Now let's imagine the timer goes off, or you put the book down and then you flip over your phone. And now you get up and do some stretches, or you do a little bit of a workout, some lat raises, some hammer curls. And you're actually enjoying doing something and moving in the morning. You almost feel your body just loosen up a little bit. After that, you grab a book and you sit down and you start reading it, or you start doing visualizations and affirmations to get a better mindset, and therefore your day is just going to be better. As you're visualizing, you almost feel a little bit of excitement, like going to the gym and doing the hard work, because it reminds you of how important it is. And as you're reading, you're almost gaining this new knowledge that is just furthering improving your mindset. And if you really did that visualization with me, I guarantee you're going to be 10 times more likely to remember, and most importantly, actually take action on what you learned. Because visualizations almost have this hidden benefit that I forgot to actually mention, is that it almost makes your subconscious actually want to achieve a goal. Now that you visualize these 3 M's and you actually doing it, your subconscious mind is way more likely to do it, because you set a goal for it. And when you set a goal for your subconscious mind, it just relentlessly tries to get it to match what you visualized. And these 3 M's have brought me such a great amount of confidence, presence, and knowledge that I've just carried on over my life. And that's basically the reason I'm recording this video, and I know the knowledge that I do. Because if it wasn't for these 3 M's, I wouldn't have really been as present. I wouldn't have done such many as good habits, and I probably wouldn't have recorded this video, because I probably wouldn't have really realized how important discipline is, because I actually did these 3 M's yesterday. So anyway, make sure you take action so you can actually get the same benefits of me. I literally gave you the whole framework, better than basically any other YouTuber that I've watched. So with all that said, I'm grateful that you were able to spend your time productively with me. Good luck and bye. Now fuck assembly, bruh.